All right, let's jump in and get started. All right, thanks everyone for joining this month's session. This week or this month on the live product demos, we're going to cover Wyng for omnichannel marketers. So how you can use a Wyng across the various channels that you do your marketing and promotions in. As a quick intro, for those of you who don't know me, it looks like I see a lot of familiar faces on the call, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Greg Smart. I'm a customer experience strategist on the Wyng team. I've been with Wyng a little over 9 years. So looking forward to taking you through some of the capabilities that the platform has that you can use across the different channels that you work in. For the agenda today, we have it broken up into a few different sections here. So the first section that we'll cover is some of the features that are available and that you can take advantage of for digital advertising. We'll also talk about how you can work some of this into retail locations, physical events, and mobile apps. At the end, we'll do a light touch on some email, social, and SMS, but we have had a separate session that dives into that in more detail. So this will be a light touching on it and pointing you over to the previous session where we did a deep dive into that. And then at the very end, we'll follow up with an open Q&A session. If you do have any questions as we go through the session, please feel free to either throw them out in the chat or the question and answer section in the webinar, or we can go through. We can speak about any questions that come in at the end of the session. So the first thing we're going to talk about is digital advertising. When it comes to the platform capabilities within Wyng, specifically around digital advertising, one of the key ones that gets overlooked quite a bit in the Wyng platform is the ability to create source tracking links. The way this works is you can come into the platform and say you're going to be running a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, and say like a Google ad or something like that. You can come into the Wyng platform and you can create specific tracking links for those three ad types. And when you're setting up the ad, use those tracking links that you created. And then within the Wyng metrics dashboard, you would be able to see the number of users that not only visited the page from those various trackable links that you created, you'd also be able to see the number of people that also submitted or engaged with the experience and completed a form or completed a quiz, whatever kind of experience you were running. So it just gives you a little bit more in-depth breakdown of what different sessions or what different sources people are coming to the page from. You can also, within the metrics dashboard, you can put in your ad spend in there. So you can also get a breakdown within the Wyng's metrics dashboard of cost per visit, cost per conversion, different things like that. So it's a very valuable tool especially if you're going to be running various digital ads and driving users to that Wyng experience. They get a quick breakdown of how all that traffic is coming in all in one page instead of having to click over or click out to those different digital advertising platforms that you were using. You can see all of that within Wyng if you go through and use our source tracking links. Now, in order to set it up within the platform, what you can do is you can come over here on any Wyng experience. If you click on the more icon, you can either click here and click on manage links, which is located right here. Or if you're within the builder itself, you can also navigate to the manage links location in the platform by clicking on the links tab that's located in the top menu bar. So let's let this experience load up and I can show you where in the builder you can also click off to it. So if you click on here where it says links, you can do add or manage links to this experience. Click on this, and this will take you over to our manage links section. Once this opens up, I'll show you how you can set up how you can set up a source tracking link. So let's let this get loaded here. Cool. And once this loads up, this is where you would see any of the links that you've created. Along with it generating a trackable link for you, it will also generate a QR code for you. So we'll touch on this a little bit later when we get to on location experiences. But say if you did want to have different QR codes for either different locations, different things like that, it'll also generate a trackable QR code for you as well when you go through this setup. So what you would do is you would say, let's create trackable link. The first thing it's going to ask you is where should this trackable link redirect to? So if you're going to be running the experience off of a Wyng.com landing page, you can just copy the landing page URL. If you're going to be embedding it on your website, you would take the URL of where the embed is going to live and place that here. So when the link gets generated, when someone goes to that link, it's going to redirect them to either, in this case, it's going to be a Wyng.com landing page. In the case that the experience is embedded on your site, if you put that link here, it'll redirect the user to the link on or to the experience on your brand.com website. After you set that up, you then come down here and you configure the source. To do that, you'll just do select source here. We have this broken up into a few sections. So we have paid media, so you can do like Instagram ad, Facebook ad, Snapchat ad, etc. Then we have social and earned media section. So if this is going to be something like an Instagram post, an influencer post, something like that. And then owned media as well. Along with some of the preset ones here, so like Instagram ad, Facebook ad, etc. We also have an other section for all of these different types. So if you click other in any of them, you can create a custom source. So in this case, we'll say this is going to be the Wyng demo source. If you were, say you were working with multiple influencers and you wanted to break out for influencer A, B, and C, you could go through and you could say, do like an other source, and you could make a specific link for influencer A, a specific link for influencer B. Same thing if you were doing different retail locations or different seller locations, things like that, and you wanted to get more granular or more specific in the name of the source, all you'd have to do is just select the other option, and you can go ahead, put in whatever option you want there. And then once you're done, you would hit save. Once you'll hit save, you'll see here on the source tracking that we have this Wyng demo link. So we have the trackable link here that you can copy and say if we were doing a digital ad, when you set up the digital ad, you would use this link and then it would redirect when someone clicks on it, it would redirect over here. And then in the metrics dashboard, you would be able to see all of the content, like all the visitors that came in through this link. You would see that number. Anyone who submitted a form or engaged with the experience, you would be able to see that number as well. And then if you wanted to, you could also put in like your ad spend behind that to get a breakdown of like cost per user or cost per visitor and cost per submission, things like that. So that's how you go and create trackable links. You can create multiple trackable links. So I just did one here, but if you wanted to do, say we were running 5 different ads, you could create 5 trackable links here and use those for the setup. So it allows you to get very granular in terms of the setup of one of those experience types. Cool. So the other part, aside from trackable links, we also support pixel tracking within the Wyng platform. So you can put in pixels like meta pixels for like Instagram and Facebook. This will help you do, and TikTok as well. This will help you do segmenting based upon users that click through from either an Instagram ad, Facebook ad, or a TikTok ad. So you can help on your segmentation on that side. We also support things like Google Analytics pixels, Adobe tags, things like that. In order to place these pixels, what you'll do inside the builder, you can come over here to the settings section and do this custom JavaScript. And this is where you would go through, and this is where you would place your pixel code. If you have questions about any of the pixel placement as you're going through and doing it, feel free to reach out to our support team, support@wyng.com, and they can jump in and assist. Depending upon how complex you want to get with the pixel tracking, you may need developer help with it. If you're just trying to do things like simple, like page visit, form submission, things like that, we can assist in there. If you're trying to tag something like a quiz where you want to have like an event on each individual like answer, things like that, you can use our our Wyng SDK events to help trigger those there's like yeah, question answers and things like that. So it is possible. It just takes a little bit more effort in the setup because you are tracking more events and a little bit more complex behaviors on the page. But that is something that is supported within the platform. So if you did want to get, depending upon how granular you want to get with your event tracking, you are able to do that. And again, all that code would go in the custom JavaScript section that you see here. Next, we're going to move on to how some of the different features and functionalities that can pertain to promotion in retail locations. Now, the most popular one is going to be QR codes. Actually, currently, if you go to one of some of the big retail stores like a Target, Walmart, dollar stores, things like that, and you see the Arm & Hammer baking soda with this 12 weeks of hosting hacks on it. This is actually a live event that Arm & Hammer is running with us right now. And they have QR codes on their products right now that if you scan will take you over to this armandhammer.com holiday hacks experience where they're going through, they're doing, it's a, in this year, it is a bracket style campaign where they have a matchup of different hacks on how to use baking soda around the holidays to make your life a little easier. So you can go through, if you are in a store and you see this, feel free to scan it so you can get a nice walkthrough of what the user experience looks like. And with this, so they generated the QR codes again from the Wyng experience here. Let me see, I move this so I can exit out. They generated the QR codes from the Wyng platform. So they're using just the links one here, this QR code generated here. You can also, as we kind of talked about in the manage campaign links, if you wanted to get a QR code from here, it gets generated automatically when you create these new trackable links, and you would just click on this icon and download it. Once a QR code is created, you're not able to edit the destination URL. This is especially important for printing. So if you wanted to come in and create the QR codes ahead of time to get them to your print shop, especially if you're going to be doing print material in store or as Arm & Hammer did, print material on packaging, make sure you have the finalized the URL that you're going to be sending users to with the Wyng experience on it finalized. And it's not going to change. Because like I said, once you come in and you create that QR code, especially on the trackable link side, you're not able to edit the destination URL. So you don't want to send the QR code to print if you are going to be updating that destination URL. So make sure before you go through, generate that QR code and send it over to your printers that you have that destination URL locked up and it is not going to change going forward. But again, it's very easy to generate that QR code within the Wyng builder and do it that way. So those are QR codes. A few other examples that we have here that we've seen for retail are proof of purchase campaigns. Now, we can handle proof of purchase campaigns in one of two ways. One is kind of a UPC or just front-end code validation, kind of like your, aside from UPC codes, kind of like your under the cap soda sweepstakes you may have seen in the past where you get a code under, you plug it in, and you see what you won or if you won. We can handle those types of experiences, and we can also handle receipt upload. So the way those work, the user would take a picture of their receipt, upload it, and then when a winner gets selected, your fulfillment team, or if you're working with the Wyng fulfillment team, kind of checks that that receipt code or that receipt image that got uploaded to make sure that they made the purchase requirements in order to win. Now, in order to set one of these experience types up, what you would do, we'll just come here and come to the form page. So say we wanted to add the UPC or front-end code validation feature to this form. What we would do is we would come into the form and we'd add a form field here called code validation. So with the code validation field, what you'll do, you can also edit this to say like enter your and then what you will do is you'll go through and you will link this form field to a specific code list. Any code list that you currently have would appear here. So we'll just say UPC codes in this case. If you have not created a code list yet, what you'll do is you'll come over here, you'll click on the more icon, and you'll do reward and validation codes. And this will take you over to our reward and validation code section. And what you'll do is you'll set up a validation list. If anyone who's been on the calls where we talk through how to set up prize lists and things like that, it's very similar. So what you would do is you would come through here, you would say create collection. You would name your collection. So we'll just call this UBC 2. And then you have a selection here. So for front-end validation specifically, we do see multi-use codes get used occasionally. So the split here is for single-use codes, a code can only be validated against once. Whereas, say if you want to use multi-use codes, that code can be validated over and over again. So depending upon how you're handling the code validation, you'll want to select what makes most sense. Is each code that you're giving away that a user needs to input here only going to be valid one time? Or are you just going to use something like, say like holiday 25? And if a user puts in holiday 25, that validates that they're able to enter into the experience. So you can make up your mind as to how you want those validation codes to work and select between either single use option or the multi-use option. After you hit create, you would then come down here. You'll see the UPC code 2 list that we created. You would then hit edit, and this is where you would add your codes. So you do add new codes here, put in for the front end validation piece. You don't need to worry about the label. We're really only validating against that code section. So this is where you would put in something like, in this case, say holiday 25, and go from there and click add code. Again, if you wanted to use our import codes from a file feature, you can also do that. You would download this pre-configured sample file, add all your validation codes to that CSV file, and then just re-upload it here. And you can go ahead and do a bulk upload of your codes that way as well. So that's how you would set it up. And then once you have that code list set up, you would then, as you go through and add that code validation field to the form, then go through and select whatever validation code list that you set up there. Now, the other way to handle a proof of purchase type experience, aside from doing a front-end code validation for either that UPC code or like code under the cap kind of deal, is going through and doing a receipt upload experience. Now, in order to do that type of experience, let's say add page here, what you would do is you would use the photo upload component. So you would go through here, you would add the photo upload component, just make sure this is set for the content to allow users directly upload an image from the device. Then you would go through, set the submission form, you would set whatever you would want to capture here. A lot of the times for the, for the receipt upload submissions, we see caption get removed because it's really just we want to capture that receipt. There's really no need for a caption at that point. So you can remove that. We also sometimes see that the author field get removed. You can leave this. More commonly, we'll see author get changed to first name, and then you'll add a last name field. And the way this will work, someone will click on the button, upload the receipt of the purchase that they made, and then fill out the form and enter in that way. And then you can check when you pick your winner, you can then go through and see that they, if they've made the corresponding purchase that, that makes them eligible to win that prize. One thing to call out that the platform does not do, we do not support real-time receipt validation. So say if you wanted to have an experience where a user comes through, submits a receipt image, and then it gets validated and shows them an instant win on whether they won something or not based upon that purchase. Currently, that is not supported within the Wyng platform. If that is something that you're looking to do, we do work with a few partners that support something similar to that. So if that is something you are interested in, definitely reach out and let me know, and we can kind of talk through what our options look like there. But out of the box within the platform, it's more of just a receipt upload, not a validation piece or an automated validation piece. Cool. Cool. So next, we also want to talk about a feature that's been released into the platform, geofencing. We have a new SDK event that surfaces location data for users. So things like the country, either country code and country name, region, um, by region, especially for regions mostly state, city, postal code, and a rough estimate for latitude and longitude. And what you can do with this information in the SDK event that gets surfaced is you can do a few different use cases with it. One is blocking experiences to specific countries or specific states. So say if you wanted to run a US only experience, you could do this where if someone tried to access the page from outside the US, you could redirect them to another page like, sorry, this is only for people who are residing in the US, something like that. Um, Another way that you can do this is you can personalize content within a Wyng experience based upon where someone is or where someone is accessing the page from. One example that we've talked about is if you're running say you're running a holiday promo for jackets or coats. You can split it up where if someone, say in like Georgia or Florida, accesses the page, you show a lighter weight jacket because it just doesn't get as cold in Florida or Georgia as it would, say, somewhere up in like the Northeast or something like that, where you could show a heavier weight jacket. Since their winters are significantly colder than someone who would be living in Georgia and Florida. So it allows you to help personalize the content based upon where a user is accessing the page from. Um, if you'd like more information on this, we can also send over, and we'll include a link to it on this slide when we send it out. We can provide a link to the SDK documentation to show how you can pull this data in order to do this customization. This is something that is available now within the platform to support those geofencing style experiences. And last but not least, we'll talk about physical events. So for physical events, one common one that we've seen a few of our clients run are in-store promotions where it's, say, a QR code on a end display or something like that. In this case, there was one we worked with, Batiste Dry Shampoo, and they have quite a big line of various dry shampoo products. So to help people who are in store making a purchase, they had a quick QR code that said, hey, take this short quiz to find the best product for you. So you would take the quiz, go through, and it would kick out what shampoo product was best for that user based upon how they answered the quiz. And they could go ahead and purchase it right in store as they went through. Another one that we saw, our other client, Shandon, last summer ran a pop-up event around Chicago and New York where they would show up at different bars and clubs and things like that. And what they did, it was a live giveaway where you would go through, scan a QR code, put in your information, and then you would play this spin wheel game. And depending upon, this was around the promotion of a new canned cocktail they were rolling out last summer. And depending upon what ingredient of the canned cocktail you landed on, it corresponded to a different prize, as well as gave you some information as to why they picked that flavor to be within the canned cocktail. Now, these prizes ranged from either a physical prize that a user would collect right then and there, so like a bottle topper kind of thing, koozies, like those kind of things. Or you could also win things. I think it was like a new, like a glass set as well, like a champagne flute set, something like that. And for those larger prizes, what they did is they just shipped it to the user based upon the information that they plugged in the form that they had to access before seeing the experience. So it was a cool way to work in a digital data capture moment into a live pop-up event at various bars and restaurants. Again, like I said, across, I believe this was in New York and Chicago last summer. Did a really good job for them. And it was a great example of how you can work in these digital data capture moments into a live event. Other event activations that we've seen, especially on the UGC side, is having either a direct upload piece, and this is for what we did for Boston Children's Hospital. They did this walkathon charity event where you could either do a direct upload through Wyng, or you could submit via the hashtag walk for BCH hashtag on Instagram. And we were going through pulling in all of this content, and they actually had they've done this event a few times. I think one was actually at Gillette Stadium, where they had the UGC appearing on some of the larger like jumbotron things at the stadium. They've also done this where they have large like screens and things like that around like the finish line area, so people can see the various submissions as people were going through and performing in the walkathon. So again, real good example of how to quickly capture UGC at an event and then be able to go through and set it up and get it pulled into some type of gallery carousel kind of thing that you could then display on a big screen. We've also worked with quite a bit of media and entertainment clients, most notably Live with Kelly. Kelly and Mark, sorry, where users can go through and interact with their daily trivia contests that they do. They also do some UGC experiences as well as kind of like collect questions and things like that from people who are watching the show to work them into on-air activations. So a cool way to interact with a live audience and get that data if you wanted to do some kind of like live promotion like on the show and things like that. So we've also, aside from Live with Kelly and Mark, we've also worked with CNBC on a few things where people could submit questions that they would talk about on air and things like that. So a good way to work in that digital piece into, in this case, a live television broadcast. Cool. And one other option this is a new feature in the platform, and this is the ability on the countdown calendar or in our image component to be able to lock and unlock tiles. So you can use this, say you have a countdown at a live event or something like that, or you were trying to build some kind of anticipation around the launch or something. In our image component, you would upload your main active image here. And then if you come over to date behavior, we now support not only the lock image until a selected time, so you can either have the image that you uploaded in step one grayed out, or if you wanted to show an alternate image, you can upload an alternate image here. And you can set when the tile or the image component would become active. You can also set when it would deactivate and expire. And again, it's the same setup options as the coming soon section. So you can either have the main tile grayed out, or you can show an alternate image if you wanted to. And again, you can set the time zone and the lock date and time. So this is great if you're say you're promoting an upcoming live experience or a live campaign or a live event, sorry. You can go through, upload this kind of coming soon user flow to really help drive, what's it called? Help drive promotion and excitement around that experience type. And finally, we'll touch on mobile apps. So Wyng experiences can be published into a mobile app, and we have a few different options, really depending upon how your mobile app is set up. The first option is using our JS embed option. If your mobile app is built to support JS embeds, you can grab that, plug it into your mobile app, and go through and publish it that way. Alternatively, if your mobile app does not support JS embeds, you can go through and we have instructions for how to deploy it as a mobile web view browser as well. So if you are interested in that, we can pull that documentation for you and show you what that setup looks like. Currently, we actually work with Match Group, the guys who are behind Tinder and things like that, to have Wyng ads published directly in Tinder, where people can go through and swipe, in this case, like left or right on this different poll here that we're seeing from Ticketmaster, things like that. So they're able to embed Wyng experiences directly in app to engage with users, to engage with users. Cool. And then finally, we have email, social, and SMS. And like I said, we've touched on this quite a bit in a past session. So if you are interested in learning more about how Wyng works into the email, social, and SMS channels, you can go over to the Help Center, and we have the live product demo, one for email marketers and one for Wyng social media marketers here. You can also browse through our integrations, especially for the email marketer and SMS marketer side, for all the different systems that we connect to, where you can send that data from Wyng over to those systems to work it into either a current or an upcoming email or SMS program that you have. That's available again in the integrations tab within the platform. Perfect. So I hope this was helpful for users to kind of go through. Maybe you didn't know some of the various features and functionalities that were in the platform for some of these other channels. If anyone does have any questions, definitely feel free to either put them in the chat or raise your hand or something like that, and we can go through and talk through any questions that you have. If not, really appreciate everyone showing up to the session today. Hope this was useful. If you do have any questions that you may want more of a one-on-one conversation about, everyone has my email address, so feel free to reach out to either myself or our support team. We can set up some time to talk through it one-on-one. Um, and then from there, I think our next session is going to be in January. It's going to be a kickoff of Wyng Wrapped 2024, where we're going to go through and kind of talk about all the exciting things that Wyng did this past year, as well as a kind of a preview, a look at what we have planned for 2025. So definitely be on the lookout for more information for that session when it comes up. Yeah, so if anyone does have any questions, I'll hang out for a few more minutes. Feel free to drop them in the chat. And if not, thanks again for showing up. I really appreciate the support. Cool. Doesn't look like we have any questions here. So again, thanks again, everybody. Going to sign off. Have a good rest of your week. And like I said, if you do have any individual questions, feel free to email me on the side, and we can talk through them one-on-one. Bye, everybody.